Welcome to Lucas Oil on the Edge. This week coming to you from Palmdale, Florida for some crazy mud racing. That's right, mud is not optional, it's actually preferred here. These guys are making spring break and a spa come together. Oh, they actually have some racing going on as well. Tonight, mud racing on the Edge.
Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control. I'm on the edge.
Things are going to get a little sloppy out here today, but we're going to have a great time, I promise you, at the Trucks Gone Wild J-Hook Mud Race, presented by General Tire at CNR Motorsports Park in Palmdale, Florida. You're watching Lucas Oil on the Edge. Ken Stout and Brian Olson with you. Big tires, big trucks, big horsepower. It's all part of the big fun out here as we get down and dirty.
Yeah, I'd say so. Hey, not only are we going to see trucks, but cool stuff like that riding around in the pits. A little mud wrestling going on as well. We've got it all here today.
Yep, and nobody's immune. Right now, let's check in with Gunner, who, by the way, is still pretty clean.
This backdrop behind me looks like the set of some new Mad Max movie, but in fact, it's the battlefield for the Trucks Gone Wild Championships. 40 of the toughest trucks in Florida are going to go head-to-head in a timed J-Hook mud race, but here's the catch. They're going to be pulling a massive monster truck tire just like this one. Only one driver is going to walk away with a championship title belt and $5,000 richer. Hey, if you don't think we're living on the edge, just watch for yourself.
Thanks a lot, Gunner. Okay, here's a look at the competitors that'll compete out here today. And, of course, my favorite, number 8, Opie-licious. It's not every day that Opie comes out here, but he's definitely out here today. And, of course, your favorite, Mud Tank Dave.
Yeah, Mud Tank Dave is in the house. Brian Gurr, Mark Cook. And we're going to get things started off with Randy Gant. Now, you can see right here, where he's got that posted no trespassing sign. It is a crew cab truck. And he's got a lot of horsepower.
Through the sippy hole. By the way, this is a purpose-built facility for this type of action. Dragging that huge tire, which probably weighs right around 200 pounds. It's not something light.
And one thing you got to make sure when you're making the turn, not one truck that I've ever seen here, at least, can just make a loop and get it done. You got to back up. Make sure you don't back over the tire. You know the question I've always had, though, Ken? How many people fall into the mud hole?
Another look at it here. Watch him. I mean, you mentioned it before, a ton of horsepower. When he hits this sippy hole right here, you lose all vision. I mean, it just hammers the windshield with nasty black mud. You can see the windshield wipers on there, but he looks out of the window real quickly to try and get a reference of where he's at on this track.
You can tell by just look at the front end alone. It said no trespassing when he took off. It was a bright burgundy-colored truck, and it was a beauty. But right now, it's just toting a bunch of mud. I got to think his truck's probably somewhere in the 5,000-6,000 pound range, Ken.
Well, I tell you, a lot of money. These guys are taking this pretty seriously. As we mentioned before, a lot of money up for grabs. Let's check in with Gunner.
Guys, the second truck hasn't even gotten off the starting line, and there's already some track controversy. Basically, these guys are used to competing in literal mud. We've got a hard surface underneath a 4-foot body of water, and these guys are complaining that at 30, 40 miles an hour, it's like hitting a piece of concrete. It's definitely a potential of ruining some of these $25,000, $30,000 engines.
Well, and no doubt the suspension, that's also very expensive. I mean, these are big 4-link trucks, a lot of expensive parts and pieces underneath them. Here comes the Ford.
Yeah, let's watch and see what the Ford does. I got to think here that he'll try to avoid some of it, and you can see him trying to steer around it right there when he got to that point that the drivers are talking about.
Papa Smurf, the name of the truck here, and again has to stop and back up. Again with the crew cab, the long wheelbase, you mentioned it before, Brian, very difficult just to make the swing and keep going. And look at that tire slow him down.
Yeah, and watch how he changes complete angle when he returned back to that starting line. There's the spot right there. You saw him hit it, but made a good run there at 31.75.
You know, it looked like the windshield wipers weren't working at all at the end. Matter of fact, they're not on right now. Typically, they'll turn them on early on. We'll find out if he had any trouble seeing, but well,
he does.
Absolutely.
There's your answer.
But there
goes the wiper.
All right. And this is when he got to the first end, of course, had to make the turn right here.
I got to think, though, Ken, so far we've seen 2 crew cab trucks My thought process would certainly be shorter would be better. However, when you're hitting those bad spots out there, I think you do want the wheelbase.
Change direction. Look at that windshield. I mean, absolutely cannot see anything. The windshield wiper's not working at all. Driving blind, baby.
Oh, man. Here comes Stuart Holden's machine. Oh, man, this is some cool stuff.
Holding it all, the big bad Chevy.
He, again, with one of those crew cab, 8-foot bed, full-body Chevrolets. And there's the spot that we were talking about earlier. And you can see right there, it just absolutely stopped that truck in its tracks.
Yeah, and he had a lot of momentum. Almost shut the thing completely off. He's going to pull out of the other side, still under power, try to get that thing rotated and turned around. But again, we'll have to see him stop, back up, and make another run at it. No doubt will not have a winning time here, but hoping he can complete the course.
That baby's got some RPM. It's got some steam and some horsepower. Right there is the spot, even on the way back. It's the same thing, Ken.
Yeah, it shut him off. I mean, I would think that's an electrical issue right there. Obviously something getting some water inside of it. Hey, come on back. We've got the dozer in the hole. This On the Edge telecast is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, the official tire living on the edge. And by Terry's RV, your road trip headquarters. Welcome back to the Trucks Gone Wild J-Hook Mud Race. 3 competitors so far, and Randy Gant is your leader. And take a look at that ride, man.
That's some road tripping right there. Here's Doug Stapleton. He's got a Chevrolet bow tie in the grill, but this is a Ford truck and the first short wheelbase Bronco we've seen. And he hits that spot we've talked about throughout the show, stumbles, and gets right back after it again.
Can he take advantage of this short wheelbase is what I'm curious about. Can he make this turn without backing up? And it does not look like it with those huge front tires on it. It also looked like that driveline might have stumbled a little bit when he hit that hard spot in the middle.
Yeah, when you're hitting that spot in the middle, it almost looked like he was getting ready to back up again. But when you hit that spot, not only does it take out inertia, it takes all those gears that are going forward. It just stops them. In some cases, you got to think there's going to be some opportunity to break them.
Man, oh man, and talk about putting one up on the chip. Listen to that thing.
Wow.
By the way, that's an accumulator right there by his right hand, that shifter. So
yeah.
What happens there is if that engine runs out of oil pressure, that accumulator will instantly shove some oil into the motor so that he doesn't damage that thing.
Yeah, the accumulator actually keeps it pushing. Even if the oil pump itself slows down, the accumulator will get it to the bearings so that you don't have that much engine damage. You can see actually he went from drive to low and drive to low a couple times, obviously backed it up, and now is headed back in the pit again.
Man, not afraid to stand on the throttle. Obviously, that accumulator loaded up with that precious Lucas oil. All right, next competitor out here going after it.
Yeah, right at the back of us, and it ain't bragging if you can back it up. Well, you got to back it up one time. That's after you get to this end of the track, right about here. Pretty good looking run right here. Time to beat is on the board, 29.82. And Gould will back his machine up. Oh, he's the first one to go up on the tire. That's literally getting on the tire right there, Ken.
Yeah, Sean's struggling here just a little bit, and with those big V treads, the diameter is so big it's hard for him to turn real sharp. Man, he is on the throttle hard here.
Oh,
I don't think you can even see where he's going.
He was bouncing. He looked like a rag doll in there.
Man.
Wow.
Jeff Smith is up next. Get fogged.
It'll get foggy, all right. Let's watch
Fog
what
it
happens.
up right here, man, and that's it. He can't see anything.
Oh, that is a good-looking run. That's quick for the front half so far.
Windshield wipers, windshield wipers. Nothing. He's got nothing. Crickets.
He's not got him.
Turned around, though. So far, so good. We'll find out how he does here.
Front half looked really good. Looked like he got through the tough part of the course there pretty easily, but
I don't know how he can see where he's going, but he's standing on the throttle. Look out of the side. As long as you're between the ditches, you're good.
yeah, you got to come between the walls. Here comes J.R. Lanier Jr. coming at you.
Boy, and that thing just sounds awesome, doesn't it?
It's got support power big time. And you know, you mentioned earlier the height of these tires and the size of them. If your gearing's not just absolutely perfect, it takes a ton of power because not only is there a lot of height there, which creates a very short gear ratio, but more importantly, that is a lot of massive weight that you've got. Rotating mass is what it's all about in any form of racing.
And the short wheelbase truck goes sailing through the worst part of this mud pit. And now we're going to talk to the man that's driving one of the prettiest trucks out here, Opie-licious.
Well, Opie, it looks like they're cleaning up the track right now. I think you're going to go for it. How you feel?
Oh, if I can keep her between them two walls out there, we got this one.
All right, well, listen, you got a team here. Well, judging by your crew, Opie, looks like you've already won this competition.
Oh, we got it, baby.
Oh, no, they're not having a good time, are they?
Doesn't take long to figure the crowd favorite, does it? He has some pretty nice looking friends, didn't he? Hey, he is making a good run. Oh, he takes a totally different approach. Goes from the right to the left at the far end here.
A little smaller tire on this particular truck, and you can see he's actually masked off the front of it. I'm sure that grill and bumper combination up there is pretty pricey.
And man, and there's chrome plating all over this truck. I couldn't stand about putting it in the mud. Opie takes the figure 8 approach, goes from right to left and then left to right to finish up with a time of 32.16, Ken.
Pretty solid effort here. Again, as you mentioned, really takes a completely different route, and I thought with a smaller diameter tire, he might get away with that turn, but he did not get around there either without backing up.
Yeah, that shorter tire means better gear ratio, but I gotta say, from the trucks that we've heard, Opie's didn't seem to have as much steam as some of the others.
I probably have to agree with that one. Great looking ride, though. By far the prettiest truck we've seen so far, but not anymore.
Great job, man. Now listen, you took a different angle than some of the other guys. Tell us about that.
I just used a little bit of strategy. I seen everybody, and I wanted to be pulled back in that rut, so I figured if I run it that way, it'd pull me back in there. It seemed to work. I don't know.
There you go. Great thought process. They're having a blast down here in Palmdale, Florida.
Back to Palmdale, Florida for some more mud racing. And if you think it's easy to do what these guys are doing out there under these conditions, just ask our good buddy Ken Stout, whose brief off-road career featured one of his famous rollovers, putting it on the lid and putting himself to sleep. Yeah, I know, Ken. Everybody talks about racing. Some people actually do it.
Oh,
that was a special moment, by the way. Didn't take me long, man. One hit on the roll cage in my head, and I was out like a light. Steve Smith is up next. Size matters. That's a big truck, man.
It is. Hey, we got some cool names. Got some great fans out here this weekend, no question about it. Another Chevrolet full-size piece. Notice when you're looking at the center section of the differential at the front and the back, these trucks, for all intents and purposes, the brakes are right there in the middle of the differential, not on the outside like a normal truck, but they're right in the center of the differential. In other words, instead of having 4 rotors, you got 2, one in front, one in back.
Yeah, much like the monster trucks that you see out there on tour, and boy, he really struggled here with the turn.
He wrapped that rope right around that tire, and this is going to be a tough way to go right here. This baby may be up in the 40 range.
You know, when you spoke about gearing, it looks like his gearing might be a little bit off, trying to create a little more torque, if you will, but didn't see the big mile per hour out of the truck.
Yeah, at the other end of the racetrack, it just wasn't there. And again, you can almost tell by listening to the motors whether or not, you know, I always say that RPMs are everything. You would think certainly in the case of these trucks, when you're pulling that much rotating mass, that torque is very important. However, I always say as long as the motor is spinning fast, it's working because you're beyond torque and you're working on horsepower at that point.
I'll tell you, a big part of him not making that turn is the weight of that tire back there. It is difficult to pull that tire, much less pull it through the mud.
Yeah, those things are way, way heavy. Man, if you could figure out a way to get through these things with a tire that would be about, and again, I'm sitting here talking about it. These guys are the ones out there doing it, but I'm thinking a 6-inch wide tire on a light aluminum wheel.
Lonnie Kirkman up next, another Chevrolet.
Now there's an opportunity right there to hear a motor spinning. Listen to that thing continue to spin. Bogs just a little bit right there, Ken.
Yeah, and again, I mean, just the mile per hour there was visually much different than the previous competitor.
Yeah, he's real good here on the front half. Now he's going to go into the second half of the track right here, right at about 21, 22 seconds. If he can match this baby, he's got a shot at least being in the top 3.
Oh, he's got a shot at winning
Oh,
here.
he does. 27.97.
Great job here as he shaves better than 1 full second off of that one. We'll find out if anybody has anything for him. We're at the Trucks Gone Wild J-Hook Mud Race, and Lonnie Kirkman just set quick time at 27.97 seconds. Here comes the Jeep. Mark Cook behind the wheel.
Now this has got to be, Ken, the lightest vehicle here. Sounds pretty good, like it's making good steam. Obviously got through the tough part of the track pretty well there, doing a little bit of bouncing. And the one, certainly one of the machines with the potential here of making the turn without a backup. Nope, not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Oh, he gets it around quick, though, baby.
Oh, and that tire just straightened him out. You know what it does? Because of the short wheelbase, it puts so much weight on the back of the vehicle, it lifts the front end up and he can't get it turned.
Oh, man, he was on his way to maybe quick time by a couple of seconds had that not happened. And now he just kills it right out there, right at the finish line.
A little too much water in the engine compartment there, and that chokes that one out. 31:22, though, very respectable time.
Very good run considering what happened on this end of the racetrack. Now watch it. At this point, he's at about a 14-second run on the front half of the track. Sticks it in reverse. Now watch it right here when he goes back forward again. Boom, the weight of that tire, it didn't really lift the front end that much, but took enough weight off the front where it didn't have any steering left.
Of course, no windows on that one, all but an open cockpit vehicle and covered in mud, no windshield wipers. Again, trying to see where he's going as he looks out of the side. Man, it was a bumpy ride with a short wheelbase Jeep.
Here comes Brian Gurr and playing dirty, baby.
Look at the height of this truck.
It is in the air, no question about it. He takes a, I was going to say, he takes a different approach, all right.
Boy, talk about some horsepower, man. It just yanked that left front tire up in the air.
Yeah, he had some steam right there. But again, he got right in the middle of that bad spot of the track that the drivers talked about early on. And now at the far end, you know, it takes a while for that motor to kind of regenerate some steam, if you will. And then again, that tire's got a fair amount of weight. Kind of shifts the whole tail end of the truck back.
Yeah, I think the tire by itself dry is probably 150, 200 pounds, and then by the time they load it up with mud and water, it's even more. That's not me. That's me. This On the Edge telecast has been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, the official tire of living on the edge. And by Herculiner Truck Bed Liners, when the tough come easy. Welcome back to the J-Hook Mud Race. It's Lonnie Kirkman who's leading the pile, and Gunner's with him.
Hey, I'm in the pits with Lonnie Kirkman. So far, you've got the fastest time, and what I love about you, man, is that the truck that you drove, you built to play, not to race. Tell us about it.
Well, I like to go out and play all day, man. We go in the mud hole, want to play and everything, and all these big motors, they can't do it. They can go out and run a real fast run, but that's it.
You've got two radiators, one in the front, is that right, and one in the rear? Take us through your truck.
I run one in the front, one in the rear. Got 4 fans on it. Front one has a shield in front so don't get mud in it. That way the truck runs a lot cooler. Don't have as many problems.
I like your style of racing. Come and have a good time. Let all these other guys break.
That's it. Let them get wet. They can't run. They ain't prepared. Oh well.
And you know, Brian, really it was his turn at the other end as we take a look at Tim Gavin getting ready to go here. When he backed up far enough to get the truck aimed forward when he put it back in drive.
They did a great job. And one of the other things that he mentioned in that interview, Ken, is keeping a motor cool. You know, and I know from all the different sports that we've been involved with, that if you run a motor cool, it will run faster. If your cylinders are cool, they're that much tighter, better compression, more heat you put in them, the looser they get.
And here goes Tim way wide on that turn, trying to do it without backing up, and he's going to get it done.
He got the job done. He actually got the job done. He's going to have one of the slower times, but he did make the turn and did not have to back up once at all. You know what? 39's not so bad.
All right, next up, Greg Barney. Already got the windshield wipers going. That thing's rumbling. Step side.
And his name is Barney, and his truck is purple.
There you go.
I did make that connection.
Well, and that concerns me.
I know. They got green shocks on it, baby. I love this stuff. Love it.
Slow down, back it up. Here we go again. Struggling, fine in reverse. Oh, and again, that tire straightens them out, man. When they're backing up, if they don't go back quite far enough to get aimed back at that mud pit, that tire just straightens them right out.
And not only has the tire got a lot of weight, you got to think if it only does weigh 200, by the time you're going the opposite way and you're yanking on that thing, it's got to be like pulling a 400 or 500 pound rock. Not only that, you're doing it with those really wet tires. Here's my main man with the mud tank. Here's
Mud Tank Day.
That's him. He looks pretty good too, man. Oh, his front half looks pretty strong. It eases up right there at the bad spot, Ken.
Big serious bumpers on that one. A lot of suspension on that one as well. So far, so good.
I'm not so positive that's the best parking spot on that end of the track, Ken.
Not my first choice. He did a great job of backing up, though.
And Mud Tank Day will wrap up the session for today, possibly with a top 10 finish at 35.59, but nowhere close. That 27-second ET for your champion, Lonnie Kirkman.
Lonnie, a great job, followed by Randy Gant, who held the lead for so long, and then Jeff Smith ran out the top three. We're standing with a champ.
Lonnie Kirkman, you are the J-Hook champion, man. Congratulations. Tell us about it.
Hey, got to get out there and run it hard. Make sure it stays dry, and it'll keep it on the ground.
For a guy who came out just to play, you seem, pretty content with taking home the win. Were you pretty confident?
Well, this one I'm pretty good at. Some of the other ones, they can outrun me a little bit, but I'm pretty well set up for this one.
Well, you put on a good show. A lot of people were rooting for you. You're a local boy, and you've been doing this for a long time, man.
Yeah, a long time. Way too long, actually, in some cases.
Well, there you have it, folks. Lonnie Kirkman, the J-Hook drag race champion.
Great times in Florida. Make sure you log on to NewWaveTV.com to find out where the OTE gang and the Terry's RV are going to next. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.